Well, first, let me say congratulations. You are now looking at the next chapter in your child's education, which means the glorious middle school years are almost over. I've completed 2 tours as a parent with high school and now in my third with Lily, and I can candidly report that this next chapter is going to be exciting for you all. You will enjoy seeing your child gain a better sense of independence and exhibit the confidence that they developed during their foundation years here at ESK. They're going to embrace subject areas of interest that they may continue on into college or as a career, and they're going to engage in a fun culture that we associate with high school. So right now, making this decision, it may seem scary to you, which is very natural when forced to transition from what has become your scholastic home for a while. Your kids are truly thriving at this time, and I know that you want their hunger for education and their happiness to continue. The good news is that it will, because we are so blessed to have many outstanding options for your child, both here locally in Knoxville and across the country. We check in with our graduates very regularly, and they all seem to be very happy with their new high school settings. It's rare that a not so good fit situation occurs, but if a change does need to take place, it's okay. You're not signing a 4-year contract, and kids remain pretty resilient when adjusting to new environments, especially at this age. There are several things I do want to encourage you to keep in mind when you are looking for that right fit. And the first, high school is a stepping stone to higher education. While these schools are going to offer some great bells and whistles for the whole family to enjoy, your main objective, though, is to look for the college years and see which school is going to help provide that pathway so that your child can find his or her first choice at that next level. And number 2, keep an open mind on all the options out there. There are great benefits to all 3 categories of schools, and that's boarding, public, and private day schools. Boarding schools offer some of the top opportunities for successful college matriculation. And while it may seem like an investment on the front end, the return can be extremely fruitful. As number 1, your child has already demonstrated academic independence away from the home environment. Boarding schools are highly reputable in the college and university world, both nationally and internationally. And boarding school students typically get to their first choice school and often receive some financial assistance in the form of scholarships. Boarding schools may seem expensive on the front end, but know that most have been around for quite some time, and they have endowments which would offer great financial assistance if that is needed. Our local public schools in the Knoxville area are also really good and can offer just as rigorous a college preparatory program as private schools can. Students are exposed to a much more diverse population in public schools, which is more true to the student makeup of our colleges and universities. There is a little more self-advocacy when it comes to course selection and college preparations, but we have found that ESK kids do a great job at speaking up with confidence and managing their academic plan. Many of the local schools will allow for you to transfer if you don't live in that particular district. And if that is the case, just let us know and we can coach you through the process. And lastly, you can't beat the price of public school. If you pay what could be tuition to a 529 account, you will be well on your way to taking a big chunk out of the upcoming college expenses. Our local private schools are also wonderful and all offer what I call a unique mission flavor. If you've been here a while, you may have developed a stereotype for our local options, and I will encourage you to ignore that and ignore what you have heard. Go visit them for yourself and start with a fresh slate. Private schools will typically present a college preparatory track for all of their students and will offer plenty of college counseling and resources for parents and students alike. The student enrollment will be a fraction of what you would find in a public school, which means there's a greater chance for more personalized attention and less competition for participation in extracurriculars. Number 3, test out the culture of the school the best that you can. Like I said, every school has a different flavor, and all options, whether they're a public or boarding or private, they're going to have a unique feel to their environment. So try to identify with that culture and see how well your child will match up to it. Your kids are plenty smart, and they will all be able to handle the academics at any of these schools. What you're looking for now is that environment that they can relate to, one where they feel comfortable, they're willing to motivate them and take on those academic risks and challenges. If at all possible, try and get on campus. Go for those in-person interviews and tours, or if not, try to get a personalized virtual tour. Attend a school event if at all possible, and test the air of the culture just to see if it does feel right for you and for your family. Now, number 4, when you're there, check out student-teacher relationships. I am a firm believer, and even more so now with what we have just gone through in virtual learning, that a teacher can make all the difference in a child's success. So look for those relationships. Look for the level of happiness and respect that the kids communicate in regards to their teacher interactions. And look for any evidence of above and beyond opportunities that those teachers may commit, like extra help sessions, responses to email questions, and their willingness to work and help you in the off hours. These will be the folks that will inspire your child to take their next academic steps, and they're also going to be the ones that will be helping them into their colleges of choice with recommendations. Number 5, don't be a follower. Every child is different and needs to make a decision that is best for them. Sometimes kids will select a school because they want to stay together with their friend group. Again, a transition comfort, but it's not always the best fit move. So think back to your middle school years and count how many in your friend group remained tight throughout high school. Your child is getting ready to hit another stage of development and personality, and it is very natural and very normal for friends to diverge and gravitate to new interests during the high school years. They will always have that ESK common bond, but not always will they remain in the same friend group. Don't be a follower can also apply to siblings as well. I totally get the convenience of having the family unit together. Just know it can quickly become outmatched by the inconvenience of having an unhappy child. Sibling personalities and learning styles can be very different, and I will encourage you to match each child to their school as an individual. So yes, the process does seem daunting at first, and believe me, I know. We just went through this with Lily, and we took a different course of action for her than we did her 2 sisters. But know that we are here to help you and help your child make this transition. You are not at all behind the timeline on seeking the pathway that best suits your family. Start exploring these options now and set up as many visits as you can. Keep an open mind and look for what feels just right in that school environment. Pay a close attention to those timelines and deadlines for applications and testing dates and transfer documents if you are exploring different public school districts. And don't hesitate to speak up and ask for help. We will be having a live question and answer session on Thursday, October 1st, starting at 6:00 p.m. Look for the Zoom link in your inbox and log in to hear and learn more. We will also be checking in with you individually to see how we can be of help to you and to your family. These are exciting times indeed, and you will learn that your child is ready to thrive in his or her next school environment. They're an ESK saint, and they will continue to make you and all of us very proud. Thanks, and take care.
Hi, I'm Susan Lancaster. I'm the language arts teacher for 8th grade, and I'm excited to be having a virtual night with you to talk about high school. So I'm going to start with 2 images, so I want you to do some visualization. The first image is of a little kid, a little preschooler, on a tiny bike with training wheels. So picture that for a second. Little kid on a bike with training wheels. And the other image I want you to think about is a seesaw. Some of you may call it a teeter-totter, but you didn't grow up around here. So think of a seesaw for a second. That's your second image. All right, so here's what I want to say about 8th grade. Think about the bike with training wheels. 8th grade is really like a bike with training wheels. So we are trying to get them ready for high school. We're going to raise the expectations this year, but it's still a safe place. And so what I love about ESK 8th grade is that we challenge them, we want them to rise to the occasion, but they still have their training wheels, and we're not going to let them fall. So this is a great year to expand and set higher expectations at home as well as at school, but we just want you to know we're in it with you to try to help them be the best they can be in high school. All right, that's your first image. Your second image is a seesaw. Okay, I don't know if you ever did this. but I did. When you were little, did you ever get on the seesaw and balance in the middle, like stand in the middle and balance so it's balanced? Did you do that? Oh, you're shaking your head up and down. Yes, you did. Okay, I did. So here's what I want you to think about. 8th grade is exactly like balancing a seesaw. So if you look 8 years back into the past of your child's life, your child was in kindergarten. If you look 8 years into the future from 8th grade, your child is a college graduate. So this is the year that we're balanced in the middle of childhood to young adulthood. And so we see all these really cool things. The kids are growing and maturing, but they do love stuff like, coloring and decorating things. So it's a great year to sort of celebrate childhood, but also a great year to think about young adulthood and how we get there. So what I want to talk about really quickly is where they are. They come to us in 8th grade with all sorts of levels of organization. Some of them can keep up with everything. Some of them can keep up with nothing. So we're working on organizational systems for all the kids in all the classes. We really want them to be advocates for themselves. So I know you've gotten some emails from me saying that if you have an issue, that's fine, but please have your child email me first. And so far this class is doing a fabulous job. We want them to be advocates for themselves so that in high school you're not having to communicate with the teachers, but your child can do that. So where we want them to be. This year, we have these goals. We want them to come up with some system of organization that works for them and will help them this year and in the future. We want them to realize the importance of balance of academics and extracurricular activities and friendships and family, and we want them to be able to use all those things to have a great year. We want them to be able to balance competing demands on their time. And we've already started to see this because we'll have athletics that are in competition for their time with homework, and they need to figure out which of those things is more important to do first. We also want to be preparing them for high school's increased academic demands and social pressures. You remember high school. It was fun, but oh my, challenging too. So we want them to go in there with a sense of their own identity and their strong moral compass so that they can kind of navigate the demands of high school. We also want them to love learning, because in high school there may be some people who don't think that that's the coolest way to spend your time. We want them to go in there feeling like learning is a privilege and a joy, and we hope we can communicate that this year. We also really want them to develop grit and perseverance. I tell my class something crazy and it makes their eyes pop open. I say, sometime during this portfolio I really want you to fail at something. And they go, ooh. And I want them to fail at something so they can practice getting back up and developing grit. I have a great TED Talk you guys can look up from Angela Duckworth, who's written a great book on grit and perseverance. Okay, really quickly, how we get them to those goals. We want them to find an organizational system that works. For some kids, they will find a system and it works all year. Some kids have to re-navigate that every couple weeks, so we need parents to help with that as well. We would like you all and the teachers as well to set clear expectations with clear parameters of rewards and consequences, and I feel like you all do that, and we are working with you on that. We are really proud of all the service that kids do at ESK, particularly with their portfolio. Service can give kids a really neat perspective on life outside their bubble, and we're all in some kind of bubble. So service can give them a great perspective on how other folks live. We would like your help in safeguarding their sleep and their downtime. We also hope that you all talk about how to break up homework to make it more palatable to everybody in the family, because we know it can be stressful. And the way I like to think about it is you eat your vegetables first before you get dessert. Go ahead and do the homework that your child is not as excited about and save the subjects that they really enjoy for later. And I just want to say the essence of middle school is transition and transformation, but sometimes it's sort of like a spiral staircase. It loops back on itself. So we can see maturity and then sort of a pullback and then more maturity and then a pullback. So finally, I want to wrap up with this. Parents oftentimes want all honors classes for their kids in high school. That's a pretty noble goal, but I do want you to think clearly about what that means, because if kids go into all honors classes in 9th grade, they'll be in all AP classes, generally speaking, in 11th and 12th grade, which means they lose an entire year of college, possibly. So we want to safeguard sort of their balance in high school. So honors classes are wonderful, but we do want to make sure that we have balance. Every high school that you all are looking at has lots of benefits and lots of challenges. We can connect you with parents who have sent kids to most every school imaginable. So boarding schools, private schools, public schools, schools out of state. So if you're thinking about anything, just communicate with us and we'll try to connect you with some parents who've been through that experience. And my final recommendation is, as your student begins high school, what I would do is start a file on your computer, and that file needs to say, you know, my child's academic and athletic achievements. And if you'll keep a list in high school of the things that they do that you ultimately need to put on a college application, you will save yourself a huge headache 4 years from now. So if you'll just keep a list of all of their activities, the sports they're in, if they won any awards, the service that they've done, just keep that somewhere on your computer. I promise you that 4 years from now, you will have an easier evening when you're filling out some paperwork. So we're so excited to have this class here, so excited that you're involved in the process and we're all working together.
Hi, welcome to High School Placement Night. I'm Mary Lovely. We're here to help you and guide you as you consider your options for next year for your 8th grade student. I'm glad you could join us for this informative video all about the high school selection process and the admissions process. Our faculty work very hard to get the students prepared and guide them for the next steps in their academic career. We work with planners to organizational skills to locker cleanouts. We've practiced all these things together to enable our students to manage the high school expectations and to become better self-advocates. You, as parents, will drive the admissions process for high school. It will be important for you to help the students submit paperwork, meet the admissions deadlines, and apply on time. The application deadlines are firm deadlines. To be considered for transfer or admission, you must submit your application or your transfer request before the deadline window ends. We host this placement night in our boarding and high school fair, which is October the 21st, to help students and parents make informed decisions regarding your high school selection. We're also here to help you navigate the whole admissions process. You're in the driver's seat, and we'll do our best to help guide you along the way. Please watch this video and visit the websites for any schools that you're interested in for next year. Anything that you're going to consider, make sure you review their website, view the admissions and the transfer websites, make sure you make notes about important due dates and the timelines for each school that you would possibly consider. Always have a backup plan. Our students typically get their first choice of any school in the admissions process, except for things that are related to a Knox County transfer or a lottery at L&N STEM. So please do your part, do your research, and apply on time. You can use your calendar to write down important dates, or you could use the calendar feature on your cell phone to enter those dates to help you stay on track as you remind your students to do the things they need to do. Recently, the area private high schools have operated off of waiting lists, so those deadlines are more important than ever. If you want to be in the round for first consideration, apply on time and apply early. Most of those online applications are open on October the 1st. And due to increased interest, the Knox County High School transfer process is a little more complicated. It's an online application that you need to submit, but you have to submit it within the window of application. So those online transfer applications open on October the 1st, and then they close at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, February the 16th, 2021. There's no chance to apply for a transfer after the window closes until midsummer. So please don't miss the deadline. Apply for a transfer early. It's an online form and it's very simple to do. The basic admissions process for high school is to review a school website, apply. If you're applying for a transfer, go on and apply for that transfer to a local public school. You need to contact the school guidance counselor or the freshman counselor, place an inquiry, make sure you're getting on any kind of email list so that you can follow all the instructions for registration deadlines, course selection guidelines, parent meetings, orientation, and everything else. Please request your ESK records, teacher recommendations, and transcripts be sent to all high schools that you're considering. If needed, register and get ready for the students to complete spring placement tests for the high school. Sometimes those tests are given at ESK and sometimes they're given at the public high school. The private high school based admissions process is a little different. You still need to review their website. You need to find out what the admissions requirements are and the deadlines. You need to submit an admissions inquiry or contact the admissions department directly and go on and submit an online application for admission. Some of those are going to require an essay from your students, so be prepared for your student to either write or type in an essay as you're applying. Have your student request letters of recommendation from their teachers if they're applying for scholarships, and sometimes it's required with their application for admission. Have them request those letters early so the teachers have time to prepare. Register your student for any visit days or shadow days or orientation dates at that high school. Register for placement tests and exams. Webb will require the IC exam. Boarding schools will require the SSAT. And Knoxville Catholic will have their own placement exam the first week of January. Make sure that you also request ESK records and teacher recommendation forms and transcripts be sent to those high schools as well. You'll need to follow up and contact the high school admissions staff to confirm that all materials for your student's application are complete and have been received. Do this before the deadline so that you have time to fill in any missing parts. Students will complete spring placement tests for world language, math, and English as needed. And again, some of those will be offered at ESK and some of them your students will take at the high school. Make sure you review all acceptance letters and emails and any offers of admission. Make your decisions early and complete your enrollment contracts and place deposits to secure your spot for the freshman year. Once you begin this admissions process, you're going to be passing around a lot of paperwork or doing a lot of things online. Please keep track of it. Email me anytime if you have questions. You can email me. You can email Miss Darby if you need help getting records sent to a high school. Webb and some of the boarding schools will ask for the teacher recommendation forms to be completed online. Make sure you enter our addresses, our email addresses, very carefully. If there's a typo in the email address, we won't receive the form and won't know to turn it in. We don't want to delay your admissions process, so please double check and make sure that there are no misspellings or typos in our ESK email addresses. We look forward to working with you during this exciting time. We're proud of our students, and we can't wait to see all the things that the class of 2021 will accomplish. And if your students are asking you about those purple hoodies, they're in production. We're hoping to get them very soon. We have not gotten an estimated shipment date yet, but as soon as we receive them, we will arrange for their special surprise delivery. So thanks for all your help. Please let us know if you have questions, and join us Thursday at 6 p.m. for a Zoom session where you can have live question and answers, and we will try to get all the information you need as you navigate the high school placement process. Go Saints!
Hello parents, it's so good to see you. I'm Lois Ross, the school counselor, and my part in the high school placement process is handling the admissions tests, the SSAT and the IC. Dates will be forthcoming for those and information, so be on the lookout for that. It's hard to believe that it's September of your child's 8th grade year and we're already talking about 9th grade and high school. But the process starts quickly and there's so much going on. It's just such an exciting time for your child. So I will be getting information out about placement tests. Be on the lookout for that. And I look forward to seeing you at the question and answer session. Goodbye.